Hi, everybody. I'm Naomi. I just want to welcome everybody who's on tonight and also those who might have an opportunity to watch this video later on. I am the founder and director of Purple Skirt. I'm very proud to be announcing that I'm doing my first 3-day cleanse in collaboration with Michelle from Juzcit, who I am very fortunate to have on with me tonight. Michelle and I first met, oh gosh, it's got to be a couple of years ago now. And, I'm here in Brisbane, and what I love about Brisbane is it's not 6 degrees of separation, it's usually 1 or 2. And Michelle's partner, Peter, had been training with my husband, Shannon, for some time. And then Michelle started training with my husband as well. And then, I think when you start to find like-minded individuals who are attracted to certain things in the health industry, it wasn't long before Michelle and I were talking about juices and all things juicing. And I'm very excited to say I ran my very first 3-day retreat down in Byron Bay last month, and again was very, very happy to be collaborating with Michelle. She provided some amazing cold pressed juices for the women who were on that retreat. And it's just coming into that time of year again, and I can even hear it in my voice. I've been at a course for 4 days, and I'm doing lots and lots and lots of talking and digesting new information, and I can just feel how my body is ready to let go of toxins that I have probably had building up in there for several months now. So tonight really is about, one, connecting with the Purple Skirt community, and two, most importantly, letting you know, if you've never done a juice cleanse before, why it is for everyone, why people can benefit from juice cleanses, and just how to prepare the body and your system for what you're about to go through so you can get the most out of it. How does that sound, Michelle?
Sounds fantastic, Naomi. So thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm feel very privileged to be here talking to you and to Erin, who's been able to make it tonight, and to everyone who watches this video in the future, especially ones that are about to embark on the cleanse with you, with this group, Naomi, that couldn't make it tonight because they had prior commitments. So, I totally get that, we all live very busy lives, and sometimes you just have to watch it later, and that's totally cool. I'm really understand what that feels like. I guess what I think I would like to start with is just give you a bit of a rundown of, a little bit of history of who I am and how I got into cleansing, and then just go through some of the steps to prep to do a cleanse, and also some of the things to not do, and then during a cleanse, some little tips and advice to do during your cleanse, and also not go too deep on that, because you will get emails and text messages and things and instructions with the cleanse as well. So that's going to be something that will happen in the moment as you're going through your cleanse. So information overload is not okay. So I don't want to just download a massive amount of information that you're never going to remember. So small amounts, tidbits along the way, things that you can do to help break your cleanse, and then just open it up to, if anyone has any questions, to hit me with it, because what I really want to do is make sure that whatever it is on your mind and the things that are questions that you have, you ask, rather than me just download information on you and expect you to remember everything, especially if it's not relevant to you, because there's really every person's cleanse is such a personal experience. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone has their own individual body, their own individual nature, their own individual circumstances leading up to a cleanse. And so they all have a very individual experience as well. And understanding to just not make that wrong, whatever that experience is. So in starting that, I started cleansing quite a number of years ago. It was when I was still working in corporate, and I had this sudden realization, because I just started dating a guy that was really healthy and I wasn't, when I thought I was healthy. And he was telling me how unhealthy I was, not in a very nasty way, but just like, gently saying, that Coke Zero is not real good for you. Things like that. And I'm like, no, I go to the gym every day and, I eat chicken breast and steamed vegetables for lunch. Of course I'm healthy. And then I was drinking 10 cups of coffee in the morning and 3 Coke Zeros in the afternoon and 2 glasses of wine and 2 beers before bed, and then getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym, thinking I was healthy, and was definitely on my way to a heart attack. Even before that, before I thought I was healthy, led an extremely toxic life. Just smoking, drinking, working hard. I had a motto of work hard, play hard. And that's how I lived my life. And that was my reality at that point in time. And I thought that changing to, going to the gym every day, but then drinking just insane amounts of caffeine to get myself through the hours, and drink alcohol to be able to sedate myself to go to sleep, to be able to get up at 4 o'clock the next morning to go back to the gym again. That was my version of a healthy life. And I didn't realise the damage I was doing. I had no idea. And so when I started lowering my resistance to the new learning that was coming into my life, I decided to agree to try a juice cleanse. And I do everything bullet gate. And I didn't stop and research and really learn anything. All I learned was every time I went onto the internet, it would say, juice cleanses are bad, should never do it. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to try it because I actually have no idea. So I went from that sort of lifestyle to starting a 5-day cleanse. And by day 3, I was in bed and I had snot coming out of my face so bad that I had like tissues just laying under my nose like this. And I was like, oh, I got a flu, I'm sick. And Peter was saying to me, no, you're detoxing. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm sick. Like I got a flu. And that's detoxing. And then so I was like, okay. So by day 5, I was feeling amazing. I was on top of the world. I had so much energy. I was sleeping good. I felt great. I was like, so this is what they actually rave about. Like, so, 2 days ago when I thought I was going to die, that really was just detoxing. And 2 days later. And so one of the things that I wanted to share that story for was there's a right way to go into it and there's a wrong way to go into it. I did it the wrong way. That was a really stupid thing to do. Like, I didn't research at all. I didn't get any advice. I had no idea what I was doing, and I had no concept of how toxic I really was at that stage in my life. So one of the things I suggest for people who go into cleansing, especially if it's their first cleanse, is to really assess what their level of toxicity is, because it's that determines how much preparation you need. So if you lead an exceptionally toxic life, don't just cold turkey it. It's going to hurt. It's jumping into freezing cold water and your body is going to be shocked and you're going to really feel it. So that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is prepare yourself. If you already lead a beautifully healthy life and you just feel like, you've got stress build up and other things, but, generally your food and your drink intake isn't too bad, then you probably don't need that big a lead up to get into it. Like you can just do a few little things that will like just cut out a little bit of toxicity leading up to it, and you'll go into it. And, so, since I've been operating Juzcit, I've seen every different type of experience that people go into and experience during a cleanse, which, some people don't experience any detox symptoms. They already have a fairly clean life. They go in, they get highly energized, feel fantastic from the cleanse, get out the other end and go, yes, I'm going to do that over and over again. So that's what I mean. Like, there's a right way and a wrong way. And I can say from experience, the wrong way is be extremely toxic, jump in with no preparation. So it depends on what your lifestyle is, really. So I recommend at least 5 days leading up to really start to assess what your position really is in your lifestyle. Be really, really brutally honest with yourself, because the only person who's going to pay for it's you, no one else. No one else gives a shit what you experience in your cleanse, really. It's your experience, right? And so in your experience, if you want to have a great experience and get a deep cleanse, make sure you're prepared for it. And so that is cut out the toxicity in your life leading up to it. So start to cut out coffee. And from experience, one of the best ways to do this is to actually reduce the number of coffees or caffeine-related drinks that you have during a day. So say, for example, you're 3 cups a day, right? Even at 3 cups a day, if you have 3 cups a day every day, you're going to experience a caffeine headache, withdrawal when you're going through a cleanse. And 3 cups a day isn't a massive amount. I personally was drinking a lot more than that when I did it. It's what you can do leading up to the cleanse is, say at day 5, you cut it down to 2 cups. At day 4, you cut it down to 1 cup. At day 3, you cut it down to, you wait until a headache starts, and then you have a sip of coffee just to get the headache away so that it's not hurting. And then you wait, and then you wait a few more hours, and then you have another little sip of coffee. And so then by day 4, you're like cruising. Day 5, you're not having any. So you've like weaned yourself off it, rather than sit there going, oh my God, I think my head's going to explode. I can't do this. So you don't have to go through that level of pain. You can make it easy for yourself. And that's what the whole process really is in the preparation to cleanse, is to make it easy. Make it so that you make small changes every day in the days leading up to the cleanse, where you're cutting out the toxic foods that generally cause inflammation and pains in your body. So caffeine, alcohol, dairy, white breads, meat, that sort of things. They're the things that will cause generally the most inflammation in your body leading up. So they're the things that you just generally cut out, so that by the time that you start your cleanse, and what you're doing as you cut those things out, you're increasing fresh fruit and veggies, really high fiber foods, because your high fiber foods, especially foods with high levels of insoluble fibers, are really good prebiotics. So you're setting up your gut to be able to really grow your microflora. So, when you're feeling all yucky in your gut biome can be really out of balance. So it could be as bad as you've got candida, and you're getting skin allergies, and you're getting thrush, and your toenails are fungy, and all sorts of shit's going on. There's some of the symptoms of having a candida overgrowth. If you're not quite that bad, but you just find that, every time you have a piece of bread, you like get a bit doubled up in pain, and you're like, oh, I'm not gluten intolerant, but I really can't eat bread because it really plays with my gut. So there's sort of really levels of intolerances that can happen in your body. And as your body is like a garbage tip, really, when it comes to toxins, because it can only get rid of so much. Your body's got certain systems that get rid of toxins, and that's your pee, your poo, your sweat, your breathe. That's about it. There's one more. Hang on. There's 5. Anyway, I'll think of it. They're the main ones. So if those systems are what gets rid of it. If you overload that system, it stores it. And it'll store those toxins generally in fat cells. And when they're stored like that, one of the things that happens when you detox, which is why it's called a detox, it will release those toxins back out into your system, and your system will be able to get them out. So it's about reducing the toxic load going in so you can get more toxins out. So that's what happens in a detox. So the whole preparation is around reducing that slowly, so you don't overload your body in like having a massive amount of toxins released all at the same time, and you end up getting sick like I did. Unpleasant. You don't want to do that. And then that's like the lead up. So we do have a 5-day prep to cleanse guide, which I don't think I sent to you, Names. I know I have it as a download on the website. On the cleanse pages, there's a link on there that is a download of the 5-day prep to cleanse guide. So that gives you just the very basics of what to cut out slowly in that lead up to the cleanse starting. Then from there, when you're in the cleanse, there's 3 types of cleanses on the website that you can choose from. One's the weight loss cleanse, the other ones are veggie cleanse, and the third one is a build your own cleanse. So the way that those work is the weight loss cleanse really is based around being the most balanced cleanse. And I don't believe in using cleanse for weight loss. I think that that's not really what it's designed for. But my SEO person said that weight loss cleanse was a really good name to give it. So I was like, because people search for that. So I sort of went, oh, okay, well, if that's what will get people to go through a cleanse process, then that's cool. I'm good with that. But the actual cleanse itself, that's not what it's designed to do. You will lose weight generally on a cleanse. You normally lose a couple of kilos a week. But if you don't change your lifestyle and change your day-to-day, the way you do things, the weight will go straight back on. So if you go do 3 days cleanse, lose a couple of kilos, and then go and eat a bucket of KFC, you are not going to keep the weight off. And it's as simple as that. So there is no such thing as a quick fix, I believe, in weight loss. Weight loss is about what you do day to day. It's your 80-20 rule of 80% of the time be healthy, 20% of the time do whatever, but don't expect a quick fix. So that's my take. and I just go, what, don't come on, look, like if you're like getting ready for a wedding and you want to have a nice flat tummy and lose a couple of kilos leading up to a wedding, yeah, okay, it'll do that for you. But it's not a long-term fix to do it like that. So if you want a long-term fix, really get into your psychology of why you put weight on in the first place and why you are eating or treating yourself badly in the first place. And a cleanse will give you space and time to really self-investigate and self-love and and learn and educate, because it gives you time. That is one of the things that I remember when I had my first cleanse, and I was like, I'd have my juice, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, from a time poor person's perspective, to suddenly be sitting there going, now what? Now what do I do? Normally I'd spend an hour or 2 hours prepping a meal and then sitting down and eating and then cleaning up, and then, so all of a sudden all this time is there. And if you are ready for it and you go into a cleanse understanding that you're going to have all this amazing amount of time that you're not spending on food, then you can do things like, one of the things I did on a 28-day cleanse was I binged on docos about food and the food industry, and then went, I have to be vegan. Oh my God. I can't do this. I can't believe what the food, I'm not vegan now. I have this tendency to flip out a little bit. I do. I eat vegetarian on occasion. I have a little bit of meat on occasion. I get very concerned about our meat industry and what it's doing, and I get very concerned about what meat can do to me health-wise. At the same time, there's, for me, a balance in my energy levels that I get from meat that I sometimes don't get when I just eat veggies, and So yeah, it's a bit of a flow and a balance and a learn and a grow, and I can go literally weeks on end where I don't eat meat, and I'll be like, I feel like it, So I think, do you know Fiona Galloway Gnomes?
Yes.
Yeah, but Fee calls it a lovetarian. So I loved her version of that. But when I was doing my 28-day cleanse, I literally binged on docos like Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead, I think is one of them. All the Food Matters ones, Cowspiracy, all those things. And I was like, that's it, I have to be a vegan. And but it didn't really work out for me energy-wise. So I found it quite difficult to maintain my level of energy while I was going vegan. So I may have been able to do it better. I may have done it like as I do a lot of things, jump in head first without researching and didn't really know what I was doing. So each to their own. But I think there's a lot to learn about yourself, about food, about the food industry, and if you go into a cleanse, understand you're going to have all this time, and think about what it is that you want to do in that time. Do you want to focus on things that are going to really support your internal level of self-love? And if you do, what are those things, and plan for them before you start, and really think about what those things are and go, okay, from this I want to be able to really pattern interrupt some shit that I do, and I can see what the shit is, and I don't like it, and so I'm going to use this as a chance to really get into that and really investigate it and really learn about it and really understand it. And it's always a never-ending journey. It really, knows you know what self-development and self-growth is like. It's once you start, it's a little bit addictive, and you get a little bit like, oh, let's keep learning in that area. That's really fun. But one thing I would definitely recommend, no matter what, this is just if you're not already doing it, start it during the cleanse and then keep doing it, is start a gratitude journal or a gratitude process, something where you're doing a practice every day. It's like, yoga is called a practice because you never arrive anywhere at yoga. You only develop and grow and learn at your own pace in your own way and develop yourself over time. And there's no beginning or ending of a yoga practice. Same with gratitude. There's a gratitude practice, and you just practice every day. And no matter what, you practice and just practice and practice. And just put it as a non-negotiable, that's it. You will do it, and that's it. And you will see your life change. So, this might be, if it's not something that's already part of your daily routine, a really good opportunity to bring that in and start doing that. And that gratitude process, I can see, Knowns, you probably do a gratitude practice every day, and it's, it has a massive, massive impact,
Absolutely. Yeah. Huge. Profound. Yes,
absolutely. Yes, profound, I think, is a really good word for it. Yeah. So then as you go through your cleanse, you will experience your own journey. And in that journey, to me, the best way to treat it and to feel it and see it is to be really, really gentle with yourself. And if you feel yourself giving yourself any sort of self-talk where it's like, oh, is this what everyone else experiences? Is this normal? What is this? Talk to yourself as if you're talking to a young child. Because while you're going through this process, you will be vulnerable. And you may experience emotions, and those emotions may come up unexpectedly. And when they do, they can sometimes catch you off guard. And like I've gone through a lot of cleanses, and even the last 3-day cleanse I went through, I was feeling a little bit of resistance leading up to the cleanse, because I kind of felt like I was working still the whole time. So I sort of went into the cleanse going, I actually just wanted to turn off from work for a few days, and now I'm going through a 3-day cleanse. And so I kind of just like set myself up nicely to then, during my cleanse, I had this like just frustration and anger just boiling in my body. And by day 3 of the cleanse, I was like gone for a nice long walk to just chill out and just touch with nature and just, be all chilled. And as I'm walking, it's like more and more of this frustration and anger is just like boiling in my belly. And I was just so angry. Angry was the only way to describe it. And so by the time I was in that state, I was then sharing with my partner going, oh God, it's just this anger is just boiling in me, and it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. There's no reason for it. It's like ridiculous. And then he was like, you're cleansing. This happens. You know that. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And, it's like, it's actually really easy to lose sight yourself because you're in it. And when you're in it, it's harder to see. So, I was very lucky in that time to have my partner to share with, to help me see what I was going through. So if you find that you're in your shit and you've got your own like emotions just like going while you're cleansing, really good idea is to find someone to share with, just to help get it out. Because then I have a coach that I use, a business coach that I use that I was sharing. She's also a energy coach who does like ancient Chinese energy movements and stuff. And she even said, oh yeah, no, it's, you were cleansing. It was a suppressed emotion was just coming up. Like, that's all it was. Don't stress about it. And so when things like that are happening, it's really about being kind to yourself and allowing and just accepting and allowing. So it can catch you off guard. Don't worry if it does. Just forgive yourself if you find that you're like me, walking along going, what is going on? So that's totally cool. Just chill out. And then to break the cleanse, start off with really soft foods. Allow your body to adjust to go from no foods to solids in a gentle way. And then if you want to reintroduce all the things that you cut out leading up to the cleanse, just do it gradually and just notice how your body feels and how your body reacts. So if you find that you finish your cleanse and next morning you get up and you have bacon and eggs and double shot espresso and follow it by a bottle of Coke, and you're not going to be able to feel shit. You're just going to feel like shit, but you're not going to be able to feel shit. You're just overwhelming your body in a massive hit, and it can really play with your digestive system. And one thing I just wanted to touch on was during the cleanse, if you do the weight loss cleanse, it includes a probiotic each day as well. And so pre and post cleanse, if you really focus on building your prebiotics, so insoluble fibers, so things that have really high levels of prebiotics are like psyllium husk, flax meal, spinach, any of your really good green leafies, onion and garlic are really high, leeks, things like that. So there's particular foods that are very, very high in prebiotic insoluble fibers that will feed the probiotics. So that's really good for getting your gut system back into balance. And then when you're during the cleanse, you'll have a probiotic every day. Now with the cleanses, Any order, it doesn't matter. One of the things that's really good though, especially as it gets cold, is if you feel like your body is getting cold during the cleanse, is to just take the juices out and leave it on the bench for an hour or two before you drink it, so that it's at room temperature when you drink it, and then you find that you don't get as cold. And the nut milks you can actually warm up as well. So I like to have a nut milk just before bed, and the choc cashew milk is my fave. I absolutely love chalky cashew milk, and I put it in my little milk heater, and then I sit there with it, and you know, it's so warming and yummy and delicious. But if you find that so with the weight loss cleanse, it comes with almond milk, and the veggie cleanse has the chalky cashew milks. If you want more milks in your cleanse, you can actually just go onto the build your own cleanse and select it so that you have more or less of whatever you want in it. So the build your own cleanse is where you can create your own style for yourself. Like I've had cleanses where I've had just veggies, cleanses where I've had mainly fruit juices, and then cleanses where I've had pretty much just nut milks. So, you know, like I find that I really, really like the nut milks because for me, I'm not a sweet tooth at all. I really like savoury over sweet, and some people are like that, like they prefer sweet over savoury or savoury over sweet. So sometimes the fruit juices can even get a bit too sweet for me. And so I replace it with a lot of nut milks because they're so not sweet. They're a little bit more savoury. You can warm them up. They're very nourishing for your body, and I just really love them. So, you know, make it suit you and what you like and how you feel in your body. And that, to me, would be my greatest piece of advice. So I'm just looking at my remaining minutes on my meeting, and I can see as I've got 4 minutes and 3 seconds, and I'm like, quick, come on, shut up, Michelle, stop yabbering. Noam, I see Erin's just jumped out of the room for a sec. Do you have anything that you want to know before the cleanse?
Not so much a question. I just really want to really layer in on the things that you've said that really made a big difference for me when I was doing my cleanse, and that is to, number one, set an intention before the cleanse kicks off, is to actually take the time to consider why it's time for you to do the cleanse, to set an intention, and that way it also sort of guides you on where your desired outcome can lead as well. You know, for me, coming into winter, I've been very, very fortunate. I've been quite healthy these last couple of months, but my children have had just a couple of things that have passed around school, and I just know that I really want to be at my best going into the winter months so that I can support them. So it can be as easy as setting an intention. And the other thing that really helped me, because like you, I went into my first cleanse sure that I wanted to do a cleanse, but not really sure what it entailed. And that is to have these types of conversations with people that have done cleanses before. You know, so there might not be a lot of questions tonight, but if in the next couple of days the community have questions, is to get a hold of me or to get a hold of Michelle and just really know that you're not the only one that's doing it for the first time. And it really is accessible to everybody. Everybody's body is designed to take a rest. And I think in Western culture, we're so used to going at such a high speed over and over and over and over and over and over. The concept of giving our bodies a rest is foreign. And that's why, you know, it was only last year that I did my very first one. So it is there for everyone. I know that's not really a question, but...
No, that's really that is really important and very relevant, because I think having an intention is a great thing. I'm just going to hit, because it didn't give us a full hour.
It's under an hour.
Yeah, I know, and it's telling me that I've got less than a minute left. I'm not sure how to do this at the very last second.
Okay. If it cuts out, it cuts out.
Yeah.
You got some amazing information in there. I think, you know, when people listen back to this, they're going to understand that following along is going to be easy. You're going to get the support and the emails and the text messages. But, I mean, we all started at one point. We were all brand new at one point. So.
Absolutely. And I think, like for, and this is, I'm trying very quickly to just, 5-digit upgrade. Come on, see if we can get it. It's just banging. Come on. All right, I think it's going to play the game.
It seems to be, because it feels like it's been longer than a minute.
Yeah, yeah, it does. I think by hitting yes, upgrade, it's like gone from less than a minute to, okay, we'll wait until you get us paid. Yeah, you're not alone. And for me personally, there's a number of times I've sat on the phone for an hour or two talking to someone that really wants to know whether or not it's right for them, what's right for them, understanding, just really getting all their questions out. And a lot of the time, I'm quite happy to just sit and be a sounding board in that sort of thing. It's like, that's cool. Like, you've got a lot of questions and doubts and not sure here, and what about this, and in those areas, I'm like totally cool to answer. Sometimes it's just actually even just voicing, wanting someone to listen, and that's cool as well. So I'm totally cool with that. Listening to your body is something that's a learnt skill, and it was something that I didn't know how to do a few years ago, and it's something that develops over time, and so being supported through that as well, I think is really important, because I think learning anything about yourself, your body, your spirituality, or all of it is really quite difficult to do alone. So being supported by people who have stepped into those realms before, and even if there's things where it's like you're experiencing something and you want to share, and like share with either gnomes or with me, and it's like, I'm experiencing this and I don't really know what to do with it or whatever. I'm sure gnomes, you would probably be very much like me. If we can't support, we probably know someone who can.
Absolutely.
And it's it's just to know that you're not alone. And there's a lot of support out there, and just a very simple reach out will give you the support you need.
I think the biggest thing for me, even now, and it's been almost a year. Well, actually, I started my first juice cleanse in May last year, so it has been 12 months now. And even now, I can look at that time as a real self-appreciation practice. It takes, well, for me, it was 39 years of habitual just doing life, and the body keeps up, but the body also holds on to a lot of stuff that we don't have time to process, so stopping to process allows a lot of that, whether it's emotion or toxicity or whatever it is that needs to come out. It's actually a very, very empowering project, is to spend time taking care of the vehicle that we drive around in every day, So I can't wait. I can't wait to do mine next week. And I'm certainly looking forward to supporting everybody who gets involved, and especially those who have decided that this is a first for them. Yeah.
And one of the things with doing it as a group like this, I try to make sure that everyone who does a cleanse through ordering it through Juzcit gets supported, that's why we do the instructions and have all the info and all that sort of stuff. But there's something about doing it in a group that I think it takes it to that next level of support, because, I know what I went through when I decided to jump in head first and not really get any idea of what I was doing. And I was at Bullet Gate. I didn't even read the instructions that came with the box. So when I do something, I really make it as hard for myself as possible sometimes. I don't do it I've changed my patterns a bit.
Well, you and I will be a good team, because I followed it to the T on my first one. So between the two of us, we'll find that nice happy medium.
Balance, yeah. No, I drank the lemon shot straight, and then I was like, I nearly, it was really full on, and I was thinking, geez, that's really intense, and then because Peter did the same cleanse at the same time, and he read all the instructions, and after I started, then he came, he's like, you're meant to mix that with water, and so I really made it hard for myself. One of the things I do really want to do is make it as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
Because I know how hard it is when you just decide that you just got to just do it and just not ask for support, and it can be really tough, and that's not how I want to live my life. And it was how I did life back then. And through experiencing things like this, and by doing that stupid shit and learning from it and giving myself the space to learn in those times, now I do life differently. I don't tend to do that so bad anymore. Nowhere near as bad.
Cool. Well, I think that if there's anybody who's going to be watching this later on, one of the biggest messages is you don't need to be an expert to take care of your body. And that we are all quite intuitive healers, and whatever is getting anybody to a point where they go, you know what, something in my system doesn't feel like it's working as well as it could, or something in my system feels blocked, or I just is this as good as energy gets? Surely there must be more to wellness than just going through the motion. So, whatever arrives you at the front door of a juice cleanse, it's a great place to be, to just ask that question, where could this take me? And if it was going to take me somewhere that could be the start of permanently taking better care of myself, what a great place to kick off winter, when most people go into hibernation and go into hiding, a juice cleanse can do the absolute opposite. It can have you just firing on all cylinders when most people are going, well, this is those months we slow down. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the, because I know you touched on it before, Gnomes, where you were talking about that we don't really take breaks. And, traditionally the human body has, over thousands and thousands of years, through necessity to start with, had fast and famine. And then as industrialization developed and, agriculture developed and all that sort of stuff happened, and there was a more regular supply of food, there was still fasting as a part of pretty much every culture and religion across the globe. So it's been something that's been in our innate body for a long, long time. And there's something now that's really missing and I think it's a part of why we have such massive amounts of chronic disease in our culture, chronic obesity, diabetes, heart attacks, all that stuff, is that we don't stop.
Yeah.
We don't give our body a break. And there is no fasting time when, unless you're Muslim and doing Ramadan, or, you're really, really strict on Lent and you decide to, cut out a whole heap of toxic shit during Lent. No one fasts that I know of. I don't know anyone. Like, I could talk to 20 of my friends and don't know of anyone that regularly fasts. Now I do, because that's sort of the circles I hang in. But okay, a few years ago, no one was not too fast. So to me, it's like, it's sort of bringing back what actually is natural, that has been taught to us and conditioned into us as a part of this culture at this time and this moment, as being not okay for some weird reason. I don't even know why anyone would do that, because it has been such a big part of human culture and history for so, so long. And I know of, like, there's so many great famous thinkers who used fasting. Who is it? Is it Plato? There's like this list. You can Google that shit. I don't need to keep that up in my brain. So to me, bringing that back in and doing it, even if it is only once a year, or listen to your body and feel when you need it, and you'll know if you're really honest with yourself when you do need it, and and you'll feel it, and you'll know, and you'll be like, now's a really good time for me to have a break.
Yeah.
And just stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. So I feel like we've covered a lot in terms of the best way to prepare for the cleanse. Going through the cleanse, the support that we'll get, through the group, but also coming off the cleanse as well, and understanding to just be real. What I loved about what you said tonight is being really gentle on our bodies and listening to our bodies. We all will go into the cleanse for different reasons, but as we journey through those 3 days, we're all going to be releasing and letting go of what the body doesn't need. To be super gentle on the other side of it as well. I can't think of anything else that I feel is really important to share right now. I just really want to say a huge thank you for you taking your time and for being so passionate about spreading the word on how to take charge of health for ourselves, to really put it back in our responsibility and our capacity to make great choices, and I just think of a cleanse, and like you said, Christmas comes once a year. We all celebrate that. What if we all started celebrating the fact that our body needs a natural reset, or a time out? So thank you for jumping on board with all your wisdom and your stories and your very, very expert opinion on how not to jump into a cleanse for the first time as well. I love that. The best way to know is to have done it that way yourself. But yes, for anybody who might be watching a little bit later tonight or in the next couple of days in the lead up to our group cleanse going ahead next week, there's still plenty of time to jump on board this group. If you want to have a go and do it at the same time as us, you need to get your orders in by about lunchtime this Sunday, which is the 27th of May, and all the information is on the Purple Skirt Facebook page, but you can also obviously get in contact with Michelle through Juzcit, and she can point you in the right direction on which way to go. Anything else you want to add in there too?
Just thinking, like, if anyone that does want to jump on board, if you do have any questions, ring me, or ring you names, or especially if you've got questions around what's the right cleanse for you to do. Like, if you're really not sure whether you want to do the weight loss cleanse or the veggie cleanse or the build your own cleanse, and especially if you have particular tastes, tolerances, allergies, anything like that, just talk to me. Totally, we're very, very flexible, and we can meet your needs, whatever that is. Yeah,
definitely.
Cool.
Great job on a Thursday night. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks heaps, Nose. I really have enjoyed the chat, and best of luck with your cleanse next week.
I know. I'm really, really looking forward to it. You know, having done the cleanse before, I've been preparing for a little while now, but I do know that my body is absolutely ready, and especially because it'll be straight off the back of the most intense 8-day course I've done in a while. And we're learning all about anatomy and where we store emotions. So it's just really well timed. You know, I've been sitting in information the last couple of days that any emotion is just energy in motion, and it needs somewhere to go. So if we're so used to keeping those toxins in, both in what we think and feel, but also what we're putting into our body, it has to go somewhere. And if we're not allowing it to leave the body, it's going to be creating that dis-ease in our bodies, you know. So after 8 days of intense learning, I'm going to be ready to stop and reset.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so fantastic, you know, and yeah, I'd love to have a bit more of a download of what you are learning, because it sounds really interesting. It sounds awesome. Yeah, cool.
Mind-blowing. Definitely. Yeah. Have a great night, and thank you to everybody who might be watching this a little bit later. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Nones. I'll let you know when I upload it.
Great. Bye.
Bye.